Yo, what is going on, you guys? So today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the reasons behind the 2022 and 2023 sports card market crash and what I believe those reasons are and whether I believe those reasons are going to play a factor in the future on what sports card prices do. Before we get into that, I do have a pretty big announcement. I know a lot of people have been messaging me on Instagram and leaving in my comment section below asking about the membership program because we haven't been accepting new members recently. We're trying to keep the club pretty tight-knit because if we're recommending cards and players to go after, we do not want so many people going after the same cards, as that's probably not the best for the market. So we are going to be allowing 5 new members to join in. If you would like to join in, the first 5 members to sign up at sportscardsinvest.com. The link is down below if you would like to join in. We have had a lot of picks recently do very well. A lot of members make a lot of money. So if you want to join in, the link is down below. We're allowing 5 new members for each membership tier program. So without further ado, we are going to hop right into this video. So if you guys are unaware, in 2020 and 2021, the sports card market went from pretty much here all the way to up here in terms of prices. We saw cards that were $100 now selling for $3,000-$4,000. We just saw a huge run up in prices, and not only that, but along with that, you had a bunch of other industries grow rapidly, such as crypto, NFTs. The stock market grew tremendously, real estate. Pretty much all sectors of markets in our economy were doing incredibly well, and it was very healthy at that time, a lot of people thought. However, one big thing was that growth was simply unsustainable. The sports card market, for example, in months like January 2021, February 2021, were growing as much as 25% month over month in terms of the main indexes, which was an absolutely crazy time for the industry. I know a lot of people who were in the industry at that time were making a lot of money. And so a lot of people were flipping, investing. There was just so much money entering the market. A lot of firms opened up and were like, you know what, we're going to allocate a percentage of our assets to sports cards and buy, a bunch of sports cards. So there were a lot of big money, institutional money that enter the sports card market, fractional ownership companies that were buying up cards and fractionalizing them on sites and, just inputting a lot of money into both the higher end markets and the lower end markets. And not only that, of course, all the other economies that I talked about. Now, of course, given that was all unsustainable, we've seen over the last 2 years, prices really come back down to earth. We've seen pretty much all cards. I mean, you can obviously make exceptions for certain players who have really sprung out recently, but pretty much across the board, across all sports, across most markets in general, crypto, stocks, real estate, cards, whatever you want to call it, it's all really gone down. And I personally believe one of the reasons sports cards was hit harder than most other industries was that sports cards were one of the industries that boomed the best, right? The boom was the highest and the fastest, and that is why the crash was the highest and the fastest. So that is truly what I believe. The stuff that went up, if you look back at what went up the most, it was mainly crypto, NFTs, sports cards, if you're looking at the main markets that I'm talking about. And those are the ones that went up the most are the ones that came down the most. And that is looked upon across different markets. It's not really a new theory. Even if you look at real estate, the states that prices went up the most in are the states that now are coming down the fastest. And so whatever grew the most, chances are it's coming back the most. And you see that in the sports card market as well, right? Younger players especially, those are the players, those young low pop cards, or high pop cards, are the ones that crash the most, like Ball, for example, or guys like that, right? Guys who had went up the most are now oftentimes down more than 95% from their peak, if not even more. There's certain cards that are down as much as 98 to 99% from their all-time highs. And so I do believe we are now at a point, or at least we are close to reaching a point where I think prices are now at a better position to grow more stably. I think there was a time where it was so unsustainable and other stuff was crashing so fast that sports cards really had to come back down to earth to match where everything else was at in the economy in general. And I think we are reaching that point. At least that's what I'm seeing. I mean, over the past couple of months, we've seen prices really steady. And I think that's a great sign. I think it's a very healthy market right now that we're in, where prices are going up and some cards are going up, some cards are going down, right? You see guys like Mikal Bridges playing extremely well. His card prices are up 76% month over month. And then you see guys like Ja Morant, falling off the spectrum, and you see his prices down 11%. And so you're really starting to see a healthy market, a healthy economy in terms of sports cards, and the supply and demand revolving around sports cards, because we were at a time where prices were just so unsustainable that I think it was pretty much bound to happen, and anyone with kind of some sense would understand that prices are not going to go up 30% month over month indefinitely. That's just not what happens in any market. Any market that goes up comes down. Most markets that go down, chances are, if they are healthy and stable and they have enough people buying cards still, in any economy, if there's enough demand, prices are going to go back up eventually. And what I really love about this time is, one, it provides so much opportunity, but two, cards are being shifted from, I mentioned this in a video a couple weeks ago, but cards are being shifted from short-term investors to many long-term investors, because right now there's so many flippers. There's not many people who are buying cards and holding them to wait for them to go up, because simply in the last 2 years that has not really been possible for most players. There's been a few cards that you would have done well on by buying and holding, but chances are most mainstream cards you bought, if you bought them and held them over the last 2 years, your chances are you're down. And I think, a lot of people have just reverted to buying cards for this percentage of comps and selling it for a bit higher. And that's how they make their way around the sports card market. At least when I go to shows, that is what I mainly see. And so I think we're definitely in a time where a lot of people buying cards right now, especially players who, for example, vintage cards right now. I think a lot more sellers are out there than buyers. And I think it could leave a very great buying opportunity, because the people who are accumulating the cards now chances are, if you're buying a vintage card right now, you're not looking for a short-term play on it. You're looking for a long-term play, and the chances are the seller who sold it to you was a short-term investor just trying to flip it. And I think when cards get into enough long-term investors' hands, that's when we're going to start to see supply dry up. And we're already starting to see supply dry up across the board. A lot less cards are hitting the market, a lot less higher-end cards. If you looked at the Golden auctions, for example, the PWCC auctions from a couple months ago, you saw so much heat. You saw so many mainstream cards that you hadn't seen in years, come out of people's basements pretty much, right? People are like, all right, now it's time to sell. There's better stuff to put my money into, whatever the case may be, right? But I think a lot of those cards, those main cards that were being sold, are kind of getting into the hands of people who are buying now and willing to hold for later. And I think a lot of people are excited about Fanatics coming in. I know it's a very mixed opinion right now, but I definitely think it's going to be huge for the sports card market in terms of publicity, athletes getting in. We saw at the Philly show, Michael Rubin was there with guys like Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, Gorju Ning. So a lot of other players are kind of getting more involved in the hobby, and I think that's going to be great. I think Fanatics has the reach to really blow this thing up. I just think it's going to take a little bit more patience. I think, the economy has to be in a better spot in general for alternative assets to thrive. You need a thriving stock market. You need a thriving economy. And I think that's really what we are waiting for. I think the sports card market has, in many aspects, in many different segments of the market, I feel the sports card market has overcorrected. I think cards right now of LeBron's that you can buy for the price of 2020, beginning of 2020, even for certain cards, they're at the price that they were in the end of 2019. I think that's an incredible buying opportunity, because there's so many more people in the sports card market right now than there were in 2019. And there's going to be a lot more people getting in with Fanatics. So it's just a matter of people becoming comfortable buying cards again. And I think as soon as we see all these people in the market who are short-term flippers, as soon as we see them comfortable buying and holding, that's when we're going to start to see prices really shoot up again. I truly believe that. And I think with an influx of people coming in with Fanatics, I think that's going to be another added factor that just causes more demand. So if I can buy cards right now that I believe in for the price of 2019 or 2020 before the whole boom, I think that's a great buy because there's so much more awareness in sports cards, so many more people in the hobby. It's just a matter of them becoming comfortable buying again. So that is how I truly feel. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of this. Once again, if you would like to join in on the program, 5 new members for each membership program down below at sportscardsinvest.com. But I really appreciate all the support. Get us to 50,000 subscribers. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'm out. Peace.